going to a pitching coach and you're seeing, hey, my son's losing 20% strength in his throwing arm in general. That's over 25 pounds in some of your pitching sessions. Can we talk about managing them a little more? Some of these sessions for kids your son's age, I've seen upwards of 80 pitches thrown because they're working on lots of stuff. The kids are highly motivated, so is the coach, but then they're coming out of this and it's like, oh boy, I've lost a ton of strength. Let's say in my grip strength, and then all of a sudden a day later or 2 days later, they're in a game and supposed to throw 5 innings and 75 pitches and they have an event. So the fatigue is really important because without it, we can't determine how the muscles are responding, okay? The strength and recovery piece, this is dialed in. He's doing the fresh exams. That's been great. And it seems like it's very regular, which is awesome. I would like for him to do 2 a week. It looks like once a week, which I think is pretty regular. For him, I'd like twice a week so that you can see what is the intermittent recovery. If possible, when he gets back to pitching, I would like for him to at least do a test the day before he pitches. I know we recommend the bullpen day before and after, but because he's had some issues and this shoulder balance is really not where it needs to be, I would like to at least have him test his fresh strength the day before he pitches. If he's not comfortable doing it the day of, maybe he might think it fatigues him, but has to do his post-exam after pitching. We got to see his fatigue because then you can communicate to the coach and say, right now we're trying to build his arm strength. He's not only has a shoulder imbalance, he's also showing me recovery alerts. So I got dots that his arm's not coming back. And now when I'm looking at pitching, he's got alerts on his fatigue, and I'm concerned about this. And I really would love for you guys to sit down with me and let's design a better workload model for him while I'm trying to figure out where he's fixing his arm. He's got to follow the app. We got to talk to his strength coaches and make sure they're on board and correcting, because it's like a sound mixer. You can't go up on sound or up on strength and up on throwing. It's not going to work together. One goes up and the other's got to go down, or else you're just going to overwork them. And the fatigue measure is what's telling you, hey, I can hit the gas, I can just take my foot off the pedals, or I got to hit the brakes here. And there's a lot of signs for me that there should be some brake pumping with that. The accountability is really good because we can see what's his training sessions. So his longest streak is 2 a week. There's generally 3 total sessions that they do. Last 7 days, he hasn't done very much. When I look at total exams, I think his exams looked really good. I just want to get a little bit more on the training. He hasn't done a lot now, so I guess he's stopped training. I highly recommend that he starts training again to develop arm strength. You never want to pick up a ball without fixing your arm, especially after an injury event. So let's go back to this again. We got to fix this, or else we're going to continually have problems coming up, in the sense that his shoulder is not being set in the right place. Both muscles, front and back, have to contract at the same time in layback. And when they don't work to stop the arm, it puts a lot more strain on the elbow because your arm's like a catapult. If your catapult's moving all over the place, the catapult's moving back while the wheels are going forward and it's not stopped, there's an energy leak problem, and it puts a lot of load on the hinge, which is your UCL, and your springs, which are your forearm muscles, to develop pain. I highly recommend getting back on the app, dialing down the throwing, and fixing this stuff, okay? And I'm going to email this to you, put in a simple video by YouTube, and I'm making it for you so that you can share with people in his group, the coaches, the skill coaches that he has, the strength coaches. I'm hoping that you guys can all get on board and really correct this situation, because yes, his strength is meeting our minimums, but the way his composition is happening isn't very good. And I don't like seeing too many of these recovery alerts. And especially, we got no idea what his fatigue is saying. And the worry I have is that his arm's fatigued, then he's going back into training, potentially doing more work than what he's capable of, or the throwing programming may be heightened, or he might have even more pitch counts to handle. And I'm concerned that you could be throwing him or training him into injury. A simple rule for me is don't outthrow or outgrow or overthrow your arm strength. Don't outgrow, meaning don't get too big while your arm doesn't catch up. It doesn't seem like that's happening with his key metrics. So his relative scores are going up. So that means as his body weight's increasing, his arm strength is, because his arm score keeps growing. So that's great. And these are all going up. He's not out throwing his arm strength in terms of velocity, but he is, as far as shoulder balance, in terms of the recovery that we have here. We got to be careful that his volume of throws, so not overthrowing his arm strength, is in check. Because things like when I see something like that combined with this, we got to manage that workload to make sure that he's free of injury. You're going to like that our new edition of our app, which is coming out, I'm going to let you know, it hasn't been made public. There's going to be an individualizer for pitch counts. We're going to use a PitchSmart database and how they use things. And then we're going to take these metrics and we're going to help customize this further so that we manage fatigue, we maximize performance, we maximize recovery, but it requires you to take the right amount of fresh exams, and you got to do the fatigue testings, because we got to know a collection with all these metrics, how to really scale the pitch counts for someone like your son so that they can have a lot of health and a lot of high performance with our product. And we also have a really nice course called the Maximizing Arm Care course. I'd like to give that to you too, so that you can get a good feel of all this and of the metrics. And I go into a lot deeper detail. So really sorry this happened. Glad that you told us what's going on. I hope that this video is helpful, and I hope this conveys to you how seriously we take our product and our customer service. And we really encourage you to keep focusing on monitoring your son's arm, doing it